Checking out for the month of December, drinking too much, eating too much is not the way to go for your real estate career. Stay tuned for productive tips to stay busy through the holidays. What's happening? J.C. Agajanian here, broker associate with the Whissel Realty Group at eXp, bringing you the recap of the Monday Morning Mastermind as we do every week. Today we hit some great topics, including best practices for sign calls and sign attraction for your listings in this day and age. We're going to hit on the eXp luxury program and all the benefits it offers. And we're also going to talk about staying productive through the holidays, how not to write off the months of December and January. So let's get straight into it. Some best practices and some good tips for utilizing the advertising, the marketing that is your real estate sign in front of an active listing. So I don't know how long you've been in the business or how much training and coaching you've had on any of this, but first and foremost, I will say that we should not give any pricing out. And that's in your brochure box on the sign out front. That's in the flyers, in the flyer holder inside the property. That's on any automated phone messages or outgoing things that people can have access to by calling or clicking through something on your sign. We're not giving them the pricing. We want to reserve that information for an actual phone call where we can deliver the info as they requested and also get some information of our own that we are seeking to have about this interested party. Sure, in this day and age, most people that are even a little bit tech savvy have the ability to grab their phone and find any pertinent information about the property they're standing in front of that they really want. But people still click on direct QR codes and links that are put on a real estate sign, and people still pick up the phone and call. So we have to think about the psychology that goes into someone who's going to do this. Like, clearly we're probably not getting as many sign calls as maybe agents would have 20 or 30 years ago before the age of technology that we live in. But people are still picking up the phone and either scanning or calling directly because they want to get in touch with the person responsible for this property. They want to get the reliable information from the person responsible for this property, and they might have some questions about this property that nobody else has except for the agent representing the seller in the sale. So we can get rid of the limiting mindset that thinks nobody's going to call unassigned anymore. Like that, it still happens. Okay, so let's just get that out of our mind. Sure, maybe not as frequently, but we still have a great tool in our signs. So how are we going to use them? As I mentioned before, we're going to have, of course, a phone number that's a dedicated line for our live listings. That way, when someone calls into this number, we know exactly the reason for that call, and we are prepared to answer questions about that property when the call comes in. The same goes for any alternate options we may give a prospective buyer on our signage. Of course, the QR code, and we also offer a website to people. Now, obviously, the QR code and the direct link to the website is going to take people to a landing page about that property. They're going to get all the information they want about that property except for, you got it, the purchase price. That list price or purchase price is still going to be reserved for an interaction between an agent and that prospective buyer. So we're driving people towards conversations with either ourselves or our inside sales team who is set up and prepared to field these phone calls. Now, for each individual listing, you're going to want to create a log of all incoming calls that have resulted from the sign in front of that property. There's a couple reasons you want to do this. First of all, the obvious. You're going to want to follow up. All we're trying to do here is get to a live over the phone conversation so that we can get to a live face-to-face appointment so that we can secure a client. Like, that's the whole goal here, right? But there's another reason. We want to have this list of inquiry phone calls from a specific property, especially any hot properties that you may have, so that you can take them and demonstrate to a future seller, possibly in that same neighborhood, all the work that you do and how your systems and your tools and your techniques are effective for the marketing and the solicitation of new inquiries on that property. So you've got a list of inquiries, phone calls that have come in from another property, and you can sit down and show this Mr. Seller of a new property, look at all these phone calls. This is from one property. This is from 1 2-week period of time or whatever it may be. We got this many phone calls, and we are able to secure all these people as prospective buyers. We were able to sift and sort, find out whether or not they are ready to take action now, or maybe they are ready to buy a home like yours because they missed out on that other one that we had for sale there. We've got a list that we can call and find out if any of these people have already found a new home, because if they haven't, we might already have a buyer for your property, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Doesn't that sound interesting? So 2 main reasons to keep tally on those properties, especially if they're in the same neighborhood. Social proof, and of course, follow up on leads. Obviously, included in all that follow-up is going to be data input into your CRM. You're going to collect as much information around that phone number and name that you can. If you've got a good tool like Spokio or Been Verified or True People Search or anything that you trust and rely on to get you additional information, add that in surrounding the phone number and the name that you've got. Now maybe you've got an email, maybe you've got a home address, you've got a full contact card for this inquiry that was simply a phone call in the first place. Now you've got all these new people put into your CRM. Oh, by the way, we're going to automatically send them properties that are similar to the one they called about in the same area with plus or minus similar square footage, bed, bath count, etc. And now we've got new properties going out to a new prospect, suiting their needs, obviously very similar to what they've already expressed interest in, and until we get in touch with them, at least they're going to be hearing from us. From there, you're going to treat this like any other lead. The appropriate follow-up, the appropriate staging, the appropriate filtering is all needed until you are able to get in front of that person and help them transact on the sale or purchase or both of their home. That's going to wrap that topic for this morning. We're going to move on to eXp Luxury, another new offering from eXp. It's not brand new. It's been talked about a little bit over the past year, but it is still new because it's not even been rolled out to the entire company yet, but it is picking up speed in a system that we can use to target the more affluent sellers and buyers in our areas. So right now there's about 1,200 or so agents that are signed up for this program that's part of the brokerage offering, and it's been live for about a year or so in the US and Canada. Coming soon is UK, New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, and I think all 25 of the global markets that eXp represents will be included in this program by the end of next year. So it's moving quickly and it's coming online quickly for all of us to use. So what is it in general? Well, basically it's a marketing plan put on steroids for your high-valued sellers, and it encompasses a lot of things that you might have to do on your own, bundles them all up, and gives you a nice presentation to talk about all the benefits of it. So we're going to have international listing distribution. We're going to have full-page digital ads in the Mansion Global Network, in the Robb Report, Unique Homes, Barron's, Market Watch, the Wall Street Journal, Luxury Real Estate, Upmarket, and 80 plus other international sites. So these are for people who think, that's great, you're doing a good job locally here in our area. What are you doing to attract the international buyers? Because I know a property like mine might have someone come from overseas, it's so special. Now, does this happen? Sure, it happens. But are people who own a less expensive luxury home more likely to be the buyer of that more expensive luxury home that already live in the area? Yeah, but it doesn't matter. We're meeting the perceived need, we're explaining all that we do, and we are really wowing them with some truly high-profile international publications. All the materials that you're going to need to take advantage of this program, this offering, the benefits that you're going to tell your sellers about, they're really easy to access and to get your hands on and to customize, frankly, to put your own skin on them, to your own photos, your own branding, your own contact information. There is a complete listing presentation. It details all that we do for these high-end buyers, and primarily sellers though. It's got marketing collateral that is custom tailored to the home and to those sellers, and it's got links available so that you can share what we're going to do with these sellers. We're going to have a tour site that's customized to them. We're going to have ad placement examples so we can show them what the ads look like on these large profile websites and magazines. We also get weekly activity reports, which are really cool because it demonstrates to the sellers, how many eyeballs you got on their property, how much reach you had, what exactly is your marketing efforts accomplishing, and you can demonstrate it so that they know that you are doing everything you possibly can on a local and on an international level to bring maximum exposure to their beautiful property. If you don't already have an elevated brand to represent you in these higher end properties, there's a complete catalog of differentiated luxury branding for eXp realtors that is set up for you to easily take and choose, and you can order pieces, you can order business cards, marketing pieces, you can have just the branding used for your digital needs. You can do whatever you want with this catalog of branding that comes with your subscription to the eXp Luxury Marketing Profile. It also comes with a separate workplace group. Now, if you're not familiar, Workplace is an internal network where coworkers share information with each other. It is powered by Facebook, so it has the look and feel of Facebook. It's kind of like a Slack or some of the other intra-office networks that people use. This is the one that we use at eXp, and it's got a special one just for people involved in eXp Luxury and the program that comes with it. Fantastic networking takes place in this group, not to mention private events that are held within larger events like conferences that eXp puts on or the regional rallies that they put on as well. You're going to have access to the other agents that are also doing the same type of business you are. Now, it's a great program, but it's not free. You're actually paying for ad placement in some of the largest publications relating to real estate in the world, so obviously it's not free. But what it is significantly less expensive than if you were to go to any of those publications that I mentioned and try and solicit an advertisement for one of these properties by itself. I mean, it is way cheaper to do it this way. You actually pay for a bundle. It comes with a year membership to eXp Luxury. If you're a solo agent, it's $2,500. If you're part of a larger team, they cut the price dramatically, and it only costs $1,000. Right now, they're having specials. It's even cheaper than that. But the cost to advertise in just one of those high-profile publications would probably be $1,000 for the ad itself, let alone all the other advertisements and placements that they are going to be helping you with. And of course, that doesn't even include all the other benefits that I just mentioned, the branding available, the networking, and more. Not to mention, you can use this for up to 10 listings simultaneously at any one time. So if you multiply the one property's worth of savings times 5 or 10, let alone however many you're going to use throughout the year, because that's just at any one given time. If you are a high-producing luxury agent, you can be using this for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 properties, depending on how many you are carrying throughout the year, literally saving you tens of thousands of dollars. It's a great program that really helps you puff your chest out and explain to your sellers that there is not a thing left to do besides hire you. You are the clear choice because of all that you offer and all that the competition does not offer. Not only is it not free, it also isn't open to everyone. You actually have to qualify because they do take this seriously, just like the homeowners that have extremely expensive homes take their properties seriously. So there's a couple of different ways to qualify: production or certification. Now, the National Association of Realtors luxury designation, or you can get a certification from eXp that is a luxury certification. So there's different ways you can qualify that way. As far as production, you can prove you've sold a minimum of 3 homes that qualify as luxury for your market. And usually that means you're selling properties in the top 10% of your market, or at the very minimum over $1 million. That part is a little bit fluid, and as you talk to the people that you need to talk to get signed up for the program, they'll flesh this out for you and make sure that you're good to go. But that's kind of the loose rules for how to qualify production-wise. Now, that's a little bit of the fine print out of the way, but don't forget that there's also, on top of the private site and the placement and all these large publications, we also have our own database within eXp called expluxury.com. And if people are simply aware of the brand and they're aware of nice properties being represented there, they may go to this website directly and then seek you out wherever you are in the country. So check it out. eXp Luxury is a killer new program. We're going to wrap that topic for there and move on to staying productive through these holiday months. Christmas, New Year's, and all the other holidays are coming at us quickly. So what are you doing to stay motivated and to keep your momentum going through these winter months? You know, it feels like everybody else is falling asleep during this time of year. But what are you doing? Are you pushing out more content than usual? Are you putting out ads and following up with them? Are you prospecting and hammering the phones during these days, weeks, and months? How is the holiday season shaping up for you? Consider this mental exercise. If you knew the date and the day and the month and the week that all the rates would really take the significant drop that we're anticipating. Now, to be fair, it will probably happen gradually, but let's assume you know the future. You know the date that we're going to lose a point, maybe a point and a half, maybe even 2 points in the coming year. What would you be doing now to prepare yourself and your clients for this market catching fire like we know it's going to? Well, we may not know the day and the date, but we know rates are going to improve next year. So we ought to be acting as though we do know when it's going to happen, because the same suggestions, the same preparation, the same counseling that you would give your clients if you did know that exact date can be doled out even though we don't know exactly when it's going to happen, because the fact is things are going to improve in the new year. And what are you doing about it now to prepare your database, your sphere, your past clients, everyone that you work with to get ready for this change in the market? So the time is now. Let's take action. Let's get ready for what we know is coming right now. Focus on your sphere. Set up micro events, maybe little happy hours, nothing major, but meetups of some sort. You know, maybe you offer to buy the first round of drinks or do something nice, right? Nothing special, but a reason to pick up the phone, make calls, make introductions, make invitations to come do something fun and stay in front of your people. It's another opportunity to take the time that maybe you have a bit more of this time of year and work on yourself as well. If you don't already have one, develop a big picture of where you're going with your business. Read business books. Make sure your mental direction is crystal clear, what you're going to do with your activities and your business coming in the new year. Don't forget that we can't take any shortcuts or fast forwards or skip over any of the main steps. For example, when you're farming, we have got to prep the soil, we have got to plant the seeds, we've got to water, we've got to wait. That's a big step before we can harvest at the end, right? And so, of course, you can make the analogies to your real estate business within that one example of farming and actually farming our business. We can't overlook anything. Let's talk about our database, for example. This is a great time when you've got a few more extra hours in a given day to comb through it. Let's clean it up. Let's prepare it. Let's tag it appropriately. Let's find all the sellers that haven't sold yet. Let's find all the follow-ups that maybe got left to the wayside or fell through the cracks. Shore up that database, tighten it up, make sure that we know exactly who we want to focus on communicating with and who we can truly consider somebody to archive and let go of. And then we can go forward with clarity inside our database as well. Who do we want to make phone calls to? Who do we want to stay in front of? Who do we need to send postcards to? Who do we need to give an email update of their home's value? All these things can take place by just really tightening up and working to get your database as clean as possible so that you can take to action as soon as possible the phone calls, the emails, the snail mail, and all that goes with it. If this season brings you more time on your hands, take advantage of it by digging through your contacts and book as many appointments as you possibly can. That's going to do it for our Monday morning mastermind recap today. I enjoyed covering the best practices for your sign calls and sign marketing, discussing a little bit about the eXp luxury plan and all that it has to offer, and of course, staying productive through these holiday months. As usual, I'm happy to discuss any of these topics or answer any questions that you may have. Hit this link below or just send me a message in the comments and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Have a great one. I'll talk to you soon.